By the way, it's been a really long time since I reacted to anything that Max did. Last time I reacted to a Maximilian video, the dudes came for me.
If you do this here, you'll always win. Street Fighter 3 is a game that, by design, doesn't have a fixed answer to those questions.
Is this true though? I guess it's kind of true because of like parry and shit. Like there's always something the other person can do, so there's no like solution, right? Maybe that's why I don't like the game, frankly.
It's a game that lets you search for answers forever.
That's actually a really good quote. What he is describing in that quote is quite literally emergent gameplay.
Isn't it literally not? Oh my, it's not though, right? So my thought is that emergent gameplay is you're in a system and tactics get discovered that aren't intended by the developer. That it's the players pushing the game type thing.
Fighting games need more of that shit. Allow you to be more creative and aggressive with your creations and let them breed new creations. You know?
All right. It took me 2 minutes. Okay, jokes aside, like, that's a weird thing to say, I feel like. For the most part, people who play don't actually try to push the game. So, like, I don't think that's, like, the actual issue. I mean, we were talking about Milia stuff last week, right? So, like, one of my recent thoughts about Milia is that she's broken and positive. Now I went from she's very good and positive. Now I'm like she's fucking busted and positive. Like I'm like she's so fucking good and positive because it's the only time she can do disc into disc. Any throw is fucking death because she gets 50 meter right away. So you get to do instant overhead or low right away. And then if you PRC, you get the meter back right away, and you fucking just go into disc over and over until they die. Right, it's super good, and she gets to use all her special moves to like fly at you, disjoints from full screen. You wouldn't think of this normally by just playing Milia. If you just play Milia and you play Milia the way everyone else plays Milia, you probably would not come to that place. You'd have to like think about that based on the system. I don't think people do that commonly. I think it's like a couple of people do that out of like the thousands and thousands and thousands of people who play the game.
That quote is the idea that there isn't hard solutions. Street Fighter V, for the most part, really lacks. There's not a lot of emergent gameplay in Street Fighter V. And it's something that a lot of Guilty Gear players kind of complain about. Like, a lot of people say the exact same thing about Guilty Gear Strive, that there's not enough meter for more emergent gameplay.
People don't try to come up with shit. That's why I didn't like his definition. People don't try to come up with shit. That whole shit I said about Milia just now, that was from, I mean, one, I was dooming. To be fair, I was dooming at that time over Milia a little bit. And then, like, when I was laughing and positive, I was like, oh, shit. Like, yo, she can fucking go hand. Like, it basically is, like, a lot of the stuff from, like, let's say, old Guilty Gear games. When people compare old Guilty Gear to Strive, the biggest problem with the way people do it is they're comparing games developed over many years to new game, where people haven't settled on stuff and fully fleshed out characters and fully fleshed out strategies. This thing he's saying is, like, it's like correct at like a base, of course, because we're all gamers, right? So gamers are all fucking baseline. Like I learned this over the years playing fighting games. Like the thing that's in front of me is all people think about. So like, oh shit, Soul's really easy, just press slash and you win. Or oh, May's really easy, just run up to close slash or command grab and you win. There's no depth, boom. But then you start seeing things like the way Zato developed and the way Happy Chaos developed. Even Happy Chaos is kind of a lame character. The way he developed, things I'm saying about Milia may or may not have heard before. Most people don't know a lot about the character too, so whatever. You need that time for these characters to develop because it's not everybody who's doing it. It's a small group of people who are doing it, and then it gets shown, and then everyone picks it up, and then the meta moves. So I feel like he's saying it from like a weird spot, and I think it's really unfair to say that about Strive. Strive has problems for sure, but I don't think that's one of them.
How do you create emergent gameplay when there is frame data? Decision making, bro. People look at a game like Third Strike or KI or Marvel 2, and they look at the speed of the game and how fast people are making decisions. And people are like, how do people even play this game?
I don't think the speed of the game is what determines emergent gameplay. I'm sorry, Lord Max. I just have to disagree, right? That is another thing that is interesting about fast games and certain games, and this is the thing I talk about all the time: combo conversion ability, right? Some of like the most hype games I think are games where you can't combo off stuff all the time, but the games are also fast. That's like the most player interaction you can fucking get because you literally have to make more choices when you can't combo off stuff all the time. I talk about this all the fucking time.
Like, and constantly having things to do.
It's like he knows what he's talking about, but he's not defining it the right way, I feel like.
Is the thing that breeds emergent gameplay. More options that characters have, the more freedom, the more the less limitations that your system mechanics provide, the more the player will be focused in solving those answers.
It doesn't matter what the system is like, people are going to do it. Even in systems where people feel like it's restrictive, people still try to push. It's actually pretty fucking hard for fighting game devs, I think, to like really make a restricted game. Like the first time I actually felt like, because everyone's like, oh, the games are easy because there's all these restrictions, and like people just find like nonsense anyway despite it. The first time a game was actually like, oh, this really is the game, it's fucking Grand Blue. Actually, Grand Blue, I remember playing Grand Blue for a couple months. I'm like, this game is dope, but like, what else is there? Like, they're really like, this really is it. Like, this is the game. Like, this is it for sure. We can get better at this. So Dragon Ball, everyone was like, this game is simple for scrubs, and then we went to all the fucking different types of teams in season 1 and season 2, finishing up with fucking Snap Bloop Death. And then moving on to season 3 and all different types of stuff. Like, people will push even in a restricted system. Restriction can actually breed creativity. Basically always. It's us that say, I mean, the devs actually put, you know, like checks and things, but like, it's mostly players who are quick to be like, oh, there's too many restrictions. Oh, we can't do anything. It's probably more, especially in brand new games, not like, let's say Guilty Gear striving more. Let's say they make a new BlazBlue like Rage Red. So if they make that, that's a brand new game, not a sequel, not an update, a brand new game. That's usually when people come at a game system the most aggressively, because no one understands the system. And then over time, people kind of investigate, a couple of creative minds do the thing, and then people are like, oh shit, and then a lot of people do it, and then the level of the game goes up, and it goes over and over and over.
DNF Duel is a game that it probably is going to get figured out pretty fast. However, it does have...
I didn't play DNF, so I have no idea.
One really important thing to it. It feels loose. That might be a very weird term.
It is a really weird term.
There is moments when I was playing a game like DNF Duel that it felt like they could have put limitations on stuff, right? For example, you can cancel any part of your normal into a special, and that special can be canceled into any other special. So at any point, you can do it. And that's very loose. That's a very loose mechanic that allows for a lot of freedom. In a situation where you had a tight fighting game, you would specifically be only limited to cancel at the beginning part or the end part.
Guys, can you think of a fighting game that people love that have really tight cancel windows where you can only do it at the beginning or the end of the move, by the way? I have one in mind. Yeah, Guilty Gear. Yeah, fucking Guilty Gear. When they make games structured around minus frames, they have to make the cancel windows big for threat. When the game is based around plus frames and stuff like that, generally the cancel windows are pretty tight. Most modern ArcSys games have huge cancel windows, but they're also generally bounced around minus frames. I talked about that a bunch.
In Street Fighter 5 is that characters could only use their V trigger or V skill off of certain moves.
He's using Street Fighter 5, so I'll use Guilty Gear again because, you know, that's the god game. Not only that, but because of like Exert and XX, the characters, we actually talked about this earlier on the stream, but if you're watching us on YouTube, you will not have heard this. So not only does Guilty Gear, Exert, and XX have like pretty tight, like you can't really delay cancel. The cancels are based around the active frames, so short active frames, short cancel window, long active frames, you get a little bit more time. Characters have different gat links, so there are some cases of characters, and I use Faust all the time, Exit Faust, where they have normals that can't cancel into anything but special moves, or they can't cancel into anything at all. So Slayer 6P cancels into nothing, like he just does 6P. So there's a move with a lot of active frames, so you can make it hit later, so that's more advantage and stuff, but it doesn't cancel into anything. Anyway, I digress.
Very specifically designed that way, where they want you to use it in this way, and that is how we crafted it. We actually do not want you to find other ways because we have crafted the game around this experience.
Guilty Gear is the same, by the way, and I fucking know someone's gonna get tight, but it's true and admit it. It's not. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it is a thing.
Nowadays,
it's just a thing.
Like that, where they're designed very tight. Back in the day, I hate saying that, but back in the day, a lot of fighting games were designed with very loose mechanics.
A lot of fighting games in the past are either like link based, so you needed to know what had enough advantage so that you could push combo. Everything had pretty tight cancel windows. The buffers were really small, which means the game doesn't accept inputs for a long time. I mean, unless he's talking about like 2010s. If he's talking about like 2010s-ish, then that would be different. But I feel like if you're going before that, then like when I think of old games, I'm thinking about like Vampire Savior, Street Fighter 2, 3, Alpha. By his definition, I mean he defined what he meant, but I just think he's kind of capping.
Inherently, most games that have, like, for example, somebody asked, is Skullgirls a loose game? Oh, hell yeah. But it lets you choose the individual thing you want your assist to be. People will just figure shit out.
That shit's sick about the game, though.
It's a reason why people love Uniest. It's one of the things people loved about LordKnight. It's a very loose game that allows for a lot of adjustment and change on the fly.
I actually am the enemy of this mindset, like, just real talk. The illusion of freedom and creativity. I feel like what most people want from fighting games, and like the way people should articulate it, is that they want to be able to do a lot of shit. They want to feel like they could do a lot of stuff. Most people's problem in modern fighting games is either like the combos aren't cool enough, or the developers are too scared to make shit broken and they try to make it like look fair shit, and they don't feel like they could do a lot of shit. I'm a fucking nerd, honestly. Like, no matter what game I play, I'm gonna do my best to like build situations and be blah blah blah, right? But like, I don't know, man. I think it's a good goal for a game to not have one way to play a character. We talked about this, but I ended up not uploading the video because I was just tight the whole time. To summarize it, back in Persona 4 Arena, I had a theory that basically characters could be played in an optimal way. That there was actually a total perfect way to play a character, and people got really mad about it. But playing Guilty Gear actually changed my mind. And the main thing that changed my mind about GG is because some characters can't convert all their combos into hits, like Milia. That's where like all like the player expression comes from, and I think that's why like a lot of the old heads like older games. Like in case of Guilty Gear, I can't speak for the other games so much. Since you don't get to convert combos of all your hits, people are not gonna act the same in that situation. So you're making more choices, which makes you feel like, one, you're making more choices, and makes you feel like you're expressing yourself. Player expression is just what you do in the game, but I think in games that have not perfect combo conversion ability, people feel like they're expressing themselves more. I think that's probably like the easiest way to fix this feeling problem that everyone has. But it depends on how people want to make the game. So like in Dragon Ball, you can combo off everything, but people can make their own teams, and it's like multiple assists, stuff like that. In Strive, you can't convert off everything, but the good characters convert off everything. But you can't convert off everything. And I think you can see the difference between players in a really interesting way on the characters too, because of the Strive Gatlings, how people choose buttons in certain situations, and how they use the advantage or lack thereof to play against their opponent. I think that's probably the thing like a lot of people actually want, but they're just not good at articulating it.
Very clear that this person is playing like Akuma, and then this person is playing Akuma, and they play the character almost entirely different.
People really harp on that. I went to an extreme of people need to feel like they could do what they want to do, which means they need more opportunities to make choices. This is why I think Accent Core and ACR are like really fucking cool games. I have my problems with ACR, of course. In the end, the game's fast. You can't convert absolutely everything, so you have to make choices really fast about stuff. And everyone has some bullshit, and it feels fun to do, and like that's basically it. I guess up to a certain skill level, and this is why I'm glad I watch this stuff and like look at everyone's comments and shit. People should feel like they can do whatever, but I think as you reach the limit, depending on the type of game you're playing, it's like if you can combo off everything, there's basically a best way to play, and like straight up, there's the best way to play. And if you can't combo off everything, then you get to see like the differences between players, which I personally think that's interesting.
Given the amount of expression within the systems to allow that looseness to happen,
I would love to just talk to him one-on-one on something. When people talk about fighting games like this, I can't help but roll my eyes. But it's because of my approach to the games, you know. How dare Max think differently? No, he's allowed to have his opinion. I'm not saying he's not allowed to have his opinion. I just think like when people talk about fighting games like this, it's a lot of saying nothing, basically. Like, I think what they want to say is that they want to feel like they can make a lot of choices and do a lot of shit.
And literally at like any part of your assist doing an action, you can press the tag button again, or whatever the action button was, and you could switch control to that character.
Max seems to like the combo heavy games, or team fighters just tend to have a lot of options. That makes sense, because I think the thing about those games is like, so you have a lot of options, so you feel like you have a lot of options, but people are going to end up refining the game and cutting it down. Like, no matter what, even there's a bunch of shit you can do. If a lot of it's bad, you know, like, let's like take a player like me. If a lot of it's bad, I'm going to optimize around a certain thing and just be like, all right, I'm like, the game is this, and if you can't handle it, you're not playing with me, basically. When we play, if you can't handle it, you're not playing with me. The Season 2 Snap Team, great example, right? The Team Gohan GT SSJ, I'm like, well, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do, opponent, but when I hit you, I'm doing this, and if you can't do something about it, and I combo off everything, because it's Dragon Ball, so if you can't do something about it, then I'm sorry, you know? Gotenks Roshi Broly, too, if you guys watch it, right? Like, if you can't do anything about this, then whatever, you know what I mean?
That'll take a long time to get used to, and it is very jarring and very daunting, but you know what it is? It's loose. It allows for a ridiculous amount of expression.
Loose is like saying moist or something. I'm like, please stop.
The last one that really did that, little game called Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
Dude, DP tag makes me want to fucking break all 3 of these monitors that are in front of me.
Granted, all of these games that are relatively loose are going to get solved. They're going to get to a point where they are eventually figured out and optimized.
Okay, yeah. So he's saying what I... Okay, I agree. I mean, I said that a little while ago.
It's just the nature of all games, right? People will figure out the best strategies for this situation. But here's the difference. The difference between a fighting game that is loose / emergent and one that is essentially solved / tight. The games that are solved and tight get figured out really quick. Like, not even that far into the game's public perspective, people figure out like optimized combos and really good shit almost immediately. And it feels like everyone's kind of playing the same game, right? Or everyone's playing characters the same way. You get a loose game, that discovery process, the process of you learning a character and playing things in your own unique way, will go years. It won't be like the first few months, right? It will not be the first few months. It will go absolutely a hell of a long time.
So one you gotta talk about speed of information, and especially in modern fighting games. So in old fighting games, even like in 2010s, you could hide shit. Information didn't move fast. In modern games, information moves really fast. So when any game comes out, people will find shit really fast in the discovery period, especially if it's a sequel to a game. In a brand new system, people will find shit fast, but people will just find shit that is similar to other games and not really stuff with the current new system. The thing is that I don't agree with is that this is actually a thing about modern games though, because it's constantly updated. For all games, I think more is found over time because players are just, they're playing the same game. Like, I don't know what to say. I actually don't think there's a difference like that.
Right. To me, that's the thing that fighting games have been a little over-designed, in my personal opinion, over the last few years.
I said this in Dragon Ball. You can feel the heavy-handedness of like the game has to be like this, right? I think everyone could agree on that. Like, out of the modern games I played, Strive is probably the least I've felt this, but I still feel it, but just like the least, right? Grand Blue, I clearly remember like in the US Master arc, that shit was hype. The first time everyone was trying to get Master, it was hype, but I was like, man, like this is really it. Like, this is seriously it. Type Luma kind of gave me that vibe, but I haven't played it a lot, so I won't comment so much.
This has been a very on-point topic of me personally, since a very specific game came out, and it was Street Fighter V. So wait a minute, why are we taking away things from all these characters from the previous game? Why are we taking away things from the previous versions of the game? And now the characters are doing even less stuff than they were doing from 2 versions ago. Like, what is going on?
Because also Max is not a competitive player, right? So like, I think he wants to feel like he could do a lot of shit. He wants the devs to be like, look at all these options here. It's deep. It's emergent gameplay. There's all this stuff where I think like competitive minded type shit is like, this shit is there. It is what it is. What do we do in this box? So that's why a lot of past games that we look at as like god games, a lot of people look at Persona 4 Arena 1 as like a super amazing game. But when that game came out, everyone's like, there's no buttons, there's no DP input, all the moves are quarter circle, the game has no sauce, like blah blah blah. They say in every game. And the players went in and then they figured out the fucking game, and people were like, holy shit, this game's OD, and the game has a bunch of hidden systems that the devs didn't even tell you about. The way he wants to articulate it is that he wants it in a really direct way. He wants like Guilty Gear XX style of just like, look at all this shit. Boom, in front of you, boom. What are you going to do with all this shit? Which I don't actually think you need that for the game to have that aspect. A really good example of a game that doesn't have a lot of shit, but people did a lot of stuff with it, is fucking MBAC. I always got to go back to MBAC, but MBAC is the definition of a bare bones game, like if you look at it at the surface, but people did a lot of stuff with the game. But it's always like a small group of people will be the ones to move the needle so that more people start implementing the tactics and make the game grow.
Fighting games do need more emergent gameplay elements. They need more mechanics that allow people to express themselves with their game engine, much less their characters, that give enough unique freedom and interactions that might be different in a game-to-game situation. I don't want to go to somebody's stream and watch somebody play a character and then every other stream, people play the character the exact same way.
The thing is, people don't fucking use the systems in the game anyway until people show that. I think it's like, he's saying he wants it, but I think he wants really huge, like, move sets, and like the devs being like, just here are all these options, look at all these options. Because like in games, I guess I'm used to it because I've played so many games like this where it's like new system, no one knows what the fuck's going on, everyone says nothing is in it, and then based on like how the system is, people are like, oh, shouldn't you be able to do X, Y, and Z? And then like people move and move and move, and then by the end, like 6 months to a year later, people are watching the game like, what fucking happened to this game? Like, this game is insane.
I played Mortal Kombat 11 at the very first reveal event was at, and I was able to pull the conclusion that this is a very tight and controlled game. At that point, I was worried. At that point, I'm like, this just might not be the Mortal Kombat for me. I'm going to keep giving it a shot, and I'm going to keep trying it, but I don't know. And I remember immediately telling everyone about that, and everyone thought I was being a piece of shit. But I didn't think the game was bad. I just felt that this is lacking the things that I really love about the fighting games that I personally love, if not even Mortal Kombat X, which is emergent to some degree. All I'm saying is that I hope for the future of fighting games that more emergent / loose gameplay elements are introduced.
Max, play BlazBlue. I'll play BlazBlue with you, bro. Play BlazBlue. It has all the emergent gameplay you want, dude. Dude, 00. Max XLK BlazBlue. This is what you're begging to play BlazBlue, actually.
The good thing is that we're already being introduced to something like that. DNF Duel immediately has some elements to its combat, which I don't think are perfect, but are very fun. The reason it is because DNF Duel felt loose.
Please stop my ears.
Is it going to get figured out really fast? Absolutely. It is. But it makes a lot of sense why the game feels that way, because the last big fighting game that developer did was a little game called Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Summary, I think he just wants games with a lot of options directly, though. I think I can articulate it better. He wants games that are very direct, like, look at all these moves, look at all this shit that you could do. Look, we're giving to you. I remember on PS2, there's a little strategy RPG called Disgaea that I fucking loved. And during this era of PS2, like, JRPGs, they would always fucking... The big flex was always how many hours the game was. Like, this guy was like, oh, more than 100 hours of gameplay. I think that's the equivalent. That's what Max wants. Like, oh, this character has all these moves and all these cancels. Like, look, we're showing you, what are you going to do with all these cancels and all these moves? I don't think he gives enough credit to, like, okay, so he probably does it in some games to the level of development of the game, but I think he doesn't give all games that credit of how people develop the game and push the engine. There's always going to be constraints in systems like that, and people work with those constraints and come up with like ridiculous stuff. So basically, in my opinion, I think he just wants like very direct, boom, look at all the shit that you can do, and to him, that's how you get to a point where everyone is doing what they want to do, which makes sense at a base level. You can't actually say that's wrong, but that's not the only way to do it. Is probably what I would say. It's not the only way to do it. You don't have to do it that way. There's a lot of examples and characters that do this. Even games like Guilty Gear, what's it like, XX and Exord, it feels like you can do a lot of stuff because you have all these moves and stuff, but the truth of it really comes out in character conversion ability and how much choices the player literally has to make. So someone mentioned Street Fighter 4. Street Fighter is a classic example because most Street Fighter games, your combo conversion ability is not very good. That's why it looks like people play differently. When you hit somebody, it's going to be variable. The situation after is going to be a little variable always because you can't follow it up. In games where you can combo everything, you can go from point A to point B in a very direct linear way. A very, 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 very direct linear way. And in games where you can't combo off stuff, or if a character can't combo off stuff all the time, it becomes way more open because you literally have to make more choices because you have to hit the opponent more. At least that's how I define it. It wasn't a bad video. I really value his opinion. I know a lot of people at FGC are like, oh, you know, like Max, like he's not a tournament player or whatever, but you do actually, people have to remember that the competitive community is probably like 2% or less of everyone who plays the game. I think like the communication between the two needs to be better. I just like really try to articulate in really specific ways why I feel like people feel the way that they do. I don't know how you guys feel though.